Have you ever felt like something was trying to reach you, but you couldn't explain what it was? Like a quiet signal, a flicker, a pulse in your chest that comes and goes, usually when the world grows quiet or when you're standing at the edge of something new. Maybe it came through a dream, maybe through a strange coincidence, maybe through a symbol. They taught you that symbols are just designs, just decoration, just art. But that's not true. Symbols are maps. And every time you ignored one, you stepped further away from your own soul. You've been conditioned, trained, really, to see the world with your eyes, but not with your energy, to trust facts, but dismiss frequencies, to believe that what's real must be explained, proven, visible. And so you stopped listening, you stopped looking, but your soul never stopped sending signals. What if I told you that one forgotten symbol has been following you since the beginning, not in obvious ways, not in textbooks, but in whispers, in dreams, in repeated patterns, in the things that keep finding you even when you're not looking for them? And what if that symbol isn't random, but intentional, like an invisible thread pulling you toward the mission you chose long before this lifetime began? Think of it this way: if your soul came to this world with a specific path, wouldn't it leave signs? Wouldn't it try to remind you? But here's the trap. When the signs arrive, your mind, shaped by years of programming, immediately shuts them down. It's just a shape. It's nothing. I'm imagining things. So you keep walking. Even with the map in your hands, you forget how to read it. Symbols aren't about logic. They're about memory. Not the kind stored in your brain, but the kind your cells remember, your field remembers, the kind of memory that doesn't speak in words, but in vibration. Like a radio that only plays one song, the one song that aligns with your true nature, symbols are frequency codes that awaken what's been dormant. Dr. Joe Dispenza has shown that certain images, particularly geometric ones, activate coherent electromagnetic responses in the heart and brain. Carl Jung called symbols messengers of the unconscious, saying they carry ancient truths hidden in the collective soul of humanity. And Edgar Cayce described them as portals, doorways to the deeper memory of the spirit. But here's the problem. Even when a symbol resonates, even when it stirs something deep inside, most people dismiss it. They don't know how to stay with the feeling. They don't know how to listen to what's beneath it. And that's the real reason we stay lost, even when the path is right in front of us, because we've forgotten how to feel our own language. We've forgotten that our soul speaks in symbols. But you're here, and something brought you here. So in this video, we're going to go deeper than you've ever gone before. We'll uncover the ancient symbol that might hold the key to your soul's mission, and explore why it keeps showing up in your life, even when you try to forget it. We'll look at how symbols bypass the mind to speak directly to the body, to the energy field, to the deeper self. And we'll explore the real reason this truth has been hidden, not by force, but by distraction. Because once you see it, really see it, you can't unsee it. And if this speaks to something inside you, if a part of you feels like it's being pulled into this message, then subscribe to this channel now. Let this be the moment you start listening again. Don't let it slip by. You're not here by accident. This is a message you once left for yourself, and today you're finally ready to receive it. Why symbols haunt your path, and you never noticed. There are things in your life that return without permission. A shape you've seen carved on a stranger's ring, a pattern on a wall that stops you mid-step, a mark that shows up in your dreams like it's watching, but never speaking. You don't know why it matters, but it does. You feel it in your gut. You pause just for a second, and then you forget. You keep walking. But what if those tiny interruptions were the beginning of remembrance? What if the most powerful truths were never loud? They were just patiently waiting for you to pay attention. See, we all grew up in a world that taught us how to name, how to label, how to classify. But it never taught us how to feel what a symbol is trying to say. It never told us that meaning could arrive through imagery, not sentences. Your rational mind was trained to ignore patterns that repeat without reason, but your soul doesn't need reason. It only needs resonance. And here's where it gets even more interesting. From the time you were a child, there have been symbols around you. In stories, in toys, in books, on buildings, some of them felt strange, some felt familiar, some made you feel things you couldn't explain. Let me give you an example. Do you remember the first time you saw an eye inside a triangle, or a spiral carved into wood, or a flower with perfect symmetry, like it wasn't made by human hands? Somewhere inside, you knew it meant something, but no one told you what. So you did what most people do. You forgot. You moved on. But the symbol didn't forget you. Pause for a moment. Think of a symbol that's followed you, even if you've never spoken of it. It might be something simple. A circle, a key, a serpent, a star. It might be something complex like the flower of life, or a shape that showed up in dreams. Whatever it is, here's something you need to understand. You didn't find that symbol. It found you. Because the universe speaks in vibration, and symbols are vibration, crystallized into form. They're not just art. They are instructions. Instructions your soul left behind, scattered like breadcrumbs, hoping that one day you'd turn around and start picking them up. Here's the process. The moment a symbol stirs something inside you, a feeling, a memory, a sense of déjà vu, your field activates. Not your logical brain, your energetic body. And this is where most people miss it. Because instead of staying with that feeling, we dismiss it. We say, it's just a coincidence. We say, that's nothing. We say, I've seen that before. Exactly. You've seen it before. You just didn't know how to read it. Let's go even deeper. When a symbol repeats in your life, it's not trying to teach your mind. It's trying to wake your soul. Because every time it reappears, it's speaking a language your body already knows, the language of frequency. And if you ignore it long enough, the call gets louder, the patterns grow sharper, the disruptions become undeniable. Let me give you another example. Have you ever noticed how some people always wear the same shape? A cross, a spiral pendant, a specific animal tattooed on their skin. They say it's just style, but what if it's the soul choosing the frequency it needs, even when the mind has no idea why? We're going to explore this deeper in the next chapter. How these symbols operate as frequency codes hidden in plain sight, and why ancient civilizations used them as energetic portals, not decoration. But before we move on, let this sink in. Your path hasn't been empty. It's been filled with signals, some subtle, some loud. And maybe, just maybe, the thing you've been searching for has been quietly searching for you, the hidden architecture of reality, symbols as frequency codes. Let's begin with something most people never hear in school. Reality is not built on matter. It's built on patterns. Everything you see, your body, your thoughts, the room you're in, is made of vibrating information. And symbols are the bridges between vibration and form. They aren't just drawings, they're blueprints. Let me explain. Imagine for a moment that your entire life is a coded message. Every emotion you feel, every person you meet, even the timing of your biggest breakdowns, all of it part of a greater design. But without the key, the code looks like chaos. It looks random. It looks like pain without meaning. Symbols are the key. They take what's invisible and make it visible. You've probably felt this without realizing it. That moment when you see a spiral and your body feels like it's moving. Or when you look at a mandala and feel your breath slowing down. Or when you draw a certain shape over and over again, without knowing why. That's not decoration, that's resonance. Let's go deeper into the science for a moment. Dr. Joe Dispenza has shown that when we meditate on specific images, especially geometric ones, our brain waves shift. Our heart coherence increases. The body enters states of heightened awareness. Why? Because those images are not passive, they are active frequencies. Carl Jung, long before neuroscience had machines to measure this, said, "Symbols are the natural language of the unconscious." Because the soul doesn't speak in English or Spanish or French, it speaks in images, in patterns, in metaphor. Now imagine this. What if the symbol you keep seeing, the one that haunts your dreams, shows up on buildings or appears in the corner of your eye when you're not paying attention? What if that symbol is a code your soul chose before you were born? A shortcut. A vibrational password that, when recognized, unlocks a part of your memory you didn't know you still had access to. Let me give you an example from nature. The golden spiral, also known as the Fibonacci sequence, shows up everywhere. In seashells, galaxies, pine cones, hurricanes, but it also shows up in human biology, in your DNA, in your fingerprints, in the bones of your hands. It's not just coincidence, it's architecture, it's memory encoded in the physical world. And when you look at it, something inside you says, "I've seen this before," because you have, not just with your eyes, but with your energy. Pause now. Breathe in slowly. What symbol has followed you through your life? Has there been one that feels like a whisper you've never fully heard? Maybe it's a triangle, a serpent, an eye, a sacred animal. Maybe it's a number, a shape, a recurring dream you can't explain. Now, choose one word that captures what this symbol stirs in you. Maybe it's clarity, maybe it's remembrance, maybe it's peace. Whatever it is, write it in the comments. Leave your mark. Let your frequency speak where words cannot. Because sometimes the word we choose is the vibration we're stepping into. And in the next section, we're going to explore why one particular symbol has shown up in every major ancient civilization, and why it was later silenced. You've seen it before, maybe in a temple, maybe in a dream. But what does it really mean? Let's uncover it together. The symbol that appeared in all ancient cultures, but was silenced. There's something strangely universal about the symbols that appear across history. Different continents, different eras, different languages, and yet the same shapes. Over and over, a spiral carved into stone in Peru, a serpent drawn on Egyptian papyrus, a mandala painted on a Himalayan wall, an eye etched into Greek temples. Civilizations that never met spoke the same symbolic language. It makes you wonder, how could the same symbol appear in places that had no way to communicate? What were they remembering? What were they protecting? The symbol wasn't art. It wasn't style, it was transmission, a living frequency encoded into form, meant to awaken something not just in the eyes, but in the soul. And yet, most of these symbols disappeared. Not completely, but subtly, silenced, hidden in plain sight. Turned into decoration, disconnected from their original vibration. Why? Because symbols carry power. And real power, the kind that awakens autonomy, doesn't fit into systems of control. A society that wants obedience won't teach people to decode their own soul. So we forgot, but even forgetting leaves echoes. Let me tell you a story. It's not dramatic, it's not rare, and maybe that's exactly why it matters. Her name is Diane. She's 52, lives in Illinois, works in administration at a local clinic. Married once, now divorced. One daughter. Her life looks ordinary. But inside, there's a quiet ache, a slow disconnection that's been growing for years. Not depression, not quite sadness. Just this sense that something important got misplaced along the way. Like a song she used to know by heart, but can't remember the melody anymore. Diane has always felt things deeply, but she learned early on to suppress it. Her family didn't talk about feelings. They talked about responsibility, bills, work, being strong, and so she built a life that looked right on the outside, but didn't speak to her inside. Then one morning in the break room of her office, she saw a screensaver on a co-worker's computer. It was just a pattern, a symmetrical geometric shape she couldn't name, but it stopped her. It was like something inside her chest moved, nothing dramatic, just a quiet breath, deeper than usual. That night, she couldn't get the image out of her mind. She started seeing it everywhere, on a candle label at the grocery store, in a dream where it glowed on the wall, in an old book someone left at the laundromat. She looked it up. Flower of life, it said, an ancient symbol of creation, present in every major civilization, from Mesopotamia to Egypt to Asia. But what struck her wasn't the history. It was the feeling. She didn't know what it meant logically, but she felt like it was watching her, or maybe waiting for her. Diane didn't tell anyone. How do you explain that a pattern is following you? That it makes you feel both called and comforted? That it somehow makes you cry without sadness? She didn't need language. She just started drawing it again and again on napkins, in notebooks, without knowing why, and slowly, things began to shift. She started asking questions she hadn't allowed herself to ask in years. What do I actually want? What if I'm not broken, just misaligned? What if I've been following the wrong symbol all my life? Her journey is still unfolding. There's no final chapter, but she no longer feels hollow. She feels curious, present, awake, and sometimes that's everything. Diane never joined a spiritual community. She never went on a retreat, but something deep within her responded to a code older than language, and that was enough to start remembering. And maybe that's your story too. Maybe a symbol has been trying to find you, and now it has. Not to give you answers, but to reflect back what's already true inside you. We'll go even deeper. We'll begin to explore how the symbols that return in your life, especially the ones that appear during transitions, are not messages for the mind, but frequencies designed to reveal where your soul is trying to move next. But to feel them, you have to stop thinking. You have to pause the pattern of analysis and step into resonance. Let's continue. Decode your recurring symbol and what it's trying to tell you. There's a quiet moment in every person's life, a moment between stories, where the old path no longer fits, but the new one hasn't arrived yet. In that strange in-between, something usually appears, a sign, a dream, a shape. A symbol that seems to hover at the edge of your awareness, asking to be noticed. But most people ignore it. Not because they're blind, but because they've been taught to look in the wrong direction. We were trained to seek truth in books, in voices of authority, in long explanations. But the soul speaks in patterns, not paragraphs. And the message isn't out there, it's always been inside. So here's something you can do, not as a task, not as homework, just as an invitation. Soft, open, and honest. Pause now, take a deep breath, let your body settle, and ask yourself, what symbol has returned to me again and again? Don't force an answer, just feel. It might be something you saw as a child and forgot. A recurring shape in your dreams, an animal that always crosses your path at key moments, an image that makes you feel something, even if you don't know what it is. The mind will want to analyze, to name, to define. But the symbol isn't trying to teach your intellect. It's trying to echo something your soul already knows. So instead of asking, what does this mean? Ask, what does this awaken in me? Let me give you a way in. Think of the last time you were in transition, emotionally, spiritually, or energetically. Maybe you lost something. Maybe you let something go. Maybe you stood in front of a choice that had no obvious answer. Now ask yourself, what symbols were present in that time of my life? They may have appeared as images, numbers, colors, dreams, or maybe as sudden pullings, like being drawn to an object, a book, a place, without knowing why. What matters is not the logic behind it. What matters is the timing. What matters is the frequency that woke something inside you. Because here's the truth. Symbols don't come to explain. They come to remind. Here's what you can try. Sit with the image that keeps calling you. Breathe slowly. Let your body relax. And gently ask, not out loud, not in words, but in vibration. What are you trying to show me? Don't expect sentences. Expect sensation. You might feel warmth in your chest or pressure in your throat. You might hear a word or just silence. But even silence can be sacred. That feeling of that subtle wave inside you is the language of alignment. It's your field adjusting to a truth that doesn't need proof. Now pause for a moment. Imagine that your soul designed a map before you were born. A map made of frequencies, emotions, symbols. And every time you feel lost, that map sends a piece of itself to you. One symbol at a time. You don't have to figure it all out. You only need to remember how to feel what's true. And now we'll go deeper into something most people miss. The silent mistake of interpreting symbols with logic instead of presence. We'll explore how meaning isn't something you extract from a symbol. It's something the symbol reveals inside you. Let's keep going. Beware the silent mistake of interpreting symbols literally. There's a subtle trap that many seekers fall into, not out of ignorance, but out of habit. The mind, trained to analyze and explain, rushes to decode every symbol it sees. It wants answers. It wants structure. It wants meaning it can explain to others. But here's the truth most people miss. Symbols don't speak in definitions. They speak in frequencies. The moment you try to define a symbol with logic, you begin to reduce its power. You shrink it down to something the ego can grasp. And in doing that, you miss the real message, because symbols were never meant to be understood with the mind. They were designed to bypass the mind, to speak directly to the field, to the soul, to the part of you that knows without explanation. It's like standing in front of a mirror and asking, what does this reflection mean? The mirror isn't trying to define you. It's showing you what's already there, filtered through your state of being. Symbols are mirrors, and what they reflect depends entirely on your vibration. Let me give you an example. Two people can look at the same symbol, let's say a serpent. One feels fear, repulsion, shame. The other feels activation, wisdom, healing. Who's right? Both. Because the symbol isn't fixed, it's responsive. It shows you what you're ready to see and what you're afraid to face. That's why trying to find the true meaning of a symbol is like trying to capture a wave with a glass. You might hold the water, but you've lost the movement. Now pause for a moment. Breathe slowly. Feel your body. Is there a symbol in your life you've been trying to figure out? Something you've researched, Googled, maybe even obsessed over, hoping it would finally make sense? Let it go, just for a moment. Not the symbol itself, but the need to define it. Instead, ask yourself, what does this symbol awaken in my energy? What part of me feels seen or challenged when I look at it? Where in my body do I feel its presence? Here's what's important to remember. The same symbol can change meaning over time. Because you change, your vibration shifts, your consciousness evolves, and as you grow, the symbol grows with you. So instead of seeking an answer, stay with the feeling. Instead of asking, what is this? Ask, what is this showing me about myself, today, right now, in this moment? Because the real meaning isn't out there, it's inside, waiting for you to become quiet enough, honest enough, still enough to feel it. And if you've made it this far in the video, thank you. Thank you for walking with me through these layers. for honoring your inner journey, for listening not just with your ears, but with your energy. Take a moment now to leave a comment below. Have you ever experienced a moment where a symbol spoke to you, not in words but in feeling? Share with us, even a few lines, even just a yes. Your story might be the key someone else has been waiting for. Let's build this community together, one frequency at a time. And if this message resonates with something inside you, subscribe to the channel. This is not the end. This is the beginning of a deeper remembering. In the next section, we'll uncover how the very systems that raised you were designed to disconnect you from this symbolic language, and why reclaiming it is an act of spiritual sovereignty. Why the Matrix teaches you to ignore symbolism, and what that reveals. From the moment you entered this world, something powerful began to fade. Not because you did anything wrong, but because the world around you was designed to shape your perception before you even knew you had one. You were taught what to see, what to value, what to fear. You were shown images, but never taught how to feel them. You were surrounded by symbols, but conditioned to treat them like decoration. This isn't about conspiracy. This is about conditioning. Because symbolic awareness is dangerous, not to you, but to the systems that depend on your disconnection. Symbols activate something that can't be controlled: inner authority. When you begin to feel the meaning of a symbol instead of learning it from a book, you stop looking outward, you start listening inward. And for systems built on dependence, that's a threat. Let me give you an image. The Matrix isn't some dark organization in a tower. It's a program of perception. It lives in the repetition of small things. In the school systems that grade you for memorizing facts but never teach you how to feel. In the media that floods you with meaningless images, noise without depth. In the way we say, it's just a dream, or it's just a movie, or it's just your imagination. But what if the imagination is the antenna? What if the very thing we've been trained to dismiss is the channel through which truth is trying to return? The Matrix doesn't erase symbols. It floods you with so many of them, stripped of meaning, that you stop noticing. A brand logo, a political image, a viral meme. Symbols reduced to marketing tools, power stripped of vibration. And so, when a real symbol shows up, a dream, a vision, a sacred shape, you barely feel it. Your nervous system is desensitized. Your mind is skeptical. Your attention span is scattered. That's not your fault. That's the software you were programmed with. But there's something the Matrix can't control. Your field, your frequency, your resonance. Because the moment you choose to feel instead of analyze, you unplug. Not from society, but from the illusion that you need it to define your truth. Pause for a second. Close your eyes if you need to. Can you remember a time when you felt something deeper than words? A presence, a knowing, a message that bypassed logic but felt unmistakably real. That's you. That's the you beneath the programming. And that's who symbols are trying to reach. So the next time a symbol appears, in a book, a dream, a stranger's necklace, don't rush to define it. Don't Google it right away. Don't ask someone else what it means. Ask your body, ask your breath, ask the energy around you, because no one can tell you what it means. Only your field knows when a message is meant for you. We'll explore what happens when the symbol finds you again, and why that moment is never random. We'll see why that reappearance might mean that something deep inside you is finally ready. When the symbol finds you again, it's time. There's something sacred about repetition. Not the kind that numbs you, but the kind that awakens you. The moment something comes back to you after a long absence, not as a coincidence, but as a mirror. That symbol you used to ignore, suddenly it shows up again, in a stranger's tattoo, in the background of a dream, in a book that falls open to a page you weren't planning to read. It doesn't shout, it just is, quiet, steady, familiar. But this time, something's different. You feel it in your chest, in your skin. Not because the symbol has changed, but because you have. You're finally aligned enough to hear what it was always saying. Because symbols don't move through time, you do. They wait, silently, patiently, until your frequency opens the door. And when that door opens, it doesn't give you answers. It gives you resonance, a knowing that can't be explained. Like standing in a place you've never been, but feeling home. You don't have to go searching. When the symbol finds you again, it's because something in your field is calling it in. Not as decoration, not as curiosity, but as a sign that a new cycle has begun. And that's what most people don't understand. Your soul doesn't shout. It repeats, over and over, through sensation, through synchronicity, through subtle pulls, until you get still enough to feel it. It's not about being ready in the way the world defines readiness. It's not about being healed or perfect or enlightened. It's about resonance. If it shows up again, you're ready, not to figure it out, but to walk with it, to let it guide instead of explain. So if a symbol has returned to your path recently, honor it. Let it stay close, draw it, sit with it, whisper to it, even if you don't know why, because that symbol may be the signature of your next becoming. Not something to analyze, but something to carry with you, like a quiet compass you don't need to understand in order to trust. In the final moments of this video, we'll bring everything together. We'll return to where we started, and you'll see that you were never disconnected, just waiting to hear your own echo return. When meaning becomes frequency, you've walked conmigo até aqui, not through facts or formulas, but through feeling, through presence. And maybe that's the point. You didn't come here to find a definition. You came to remember a language you never truly forgot. Symbols were never outside of you. They were always the silent voice of your own soul, waiting, repeating, returning. Every shape that stirred something inside you, every pattern that refused to leave, every moment that felt like déjà vu but deeper, that was a call. Not to understand, but to remember. Because you were never lost. You just forgot how to read the signs you left behind. You are the one who drew them. You are the one who scattered them across your journey. And now, you're the one who's ready to feel them again. This isn't the end. This is a beginning you've always carried inside. Thank you for walking through this with me. Thank you for listening, not just with your ears, but with your field. Thank you for letting this message meet you where words can't always go. If you felt something shift, move, stir, or breathe deeper within you, leave a comment below. Let me know what this brought up for you. Did you remember something? Did a symbol return to you during this video? If this resonated, leave a like and subscribe to Echoes of the Path. Not to follow, but to walk together. This community is for remembering, not performing. This is your space too. And if you're ready for the next step, watch the next video right here. Escape the matrix. Your choices were designed. It goes even deeper into the parts of you that were never broken, just hidden. Until then, breathe gently. Stay present. And remember, you are not at the mercy of the external world. You are the field that transforms what vibrates around you. Let the symbol guide you, not to answers, but to alignment. We'll continue from here, together.